Alrighty then, it's time for a Jungle Gragas game, and this is after receiving those significant buffs. Which one? And I say significant because they've greatly helped out his win rate. His win rate went from around 44% to 51%, and this buff was the one that made his W do an AoE, a tiny AoE splash damage around his target. Now, the reason this is a big buff is because his jungle clearing prior to this change was suffering tremendously. His team fighting was still good, but the thing is, he couldn't reach an adequate level because he just couldn't clear efficiently. He would get behind, he would get beat up, he would be too slow. But this change allowed him to clear more efficiently because you would use your E, you would use your Q, and you would use your W on a camp, but that still wouldn't finish it all off. You would have to sit there hitting them with your fist a few more times, which would slow you down and make you take more damage, which would mean you cleared even less. So this change just basically was an update. It brought him back up to the standard he's expected to be, because he's mostly like this fat utility tank at the moment, since he just CCs, slows, does good damage, moderate towards level, and it initiates. By the way, I gotta mention this. In this little scene here, I was on full on tilt, so I failed my body slam E embarrassingly, and out of pure greed because of the last game being so poorly fought, I decided to tower dive him, and it doesn't result in a good thing for me or Fiora. So after this gank, I decide chill out a little bit and take it slowly. So from now on after this, I'm going to be a little bit more careful and more methodical. Anyways, runes and masteries. For my masteries are 0, 12, and 18, taking anything that would give me more health and more mana efficiency early on. And for my runes, listen up, they're vastly different than what you'd expect. On this one, I'm taking attack speed, though magic pen is fine too. I'm taking health per level yellows, armor quints, and magic resistance blues, but 6 cooldown reduction blues. It's just to make it more efficient and more cost effective. Basically right now, the meta for some tanks like him, utility ones, is just to basically be hard to kill and get as much fucking health as you can. Just be a huge fat wall. And Gragas obviously just exemplifies this. Now, this buff to Gragas makes him keep up with other junglers, but will it make him relevant in solo queue? Now, in solo queue, he's already being picked again, mostly because he's a very good utility champion. Unlike a lot of the damage champions that are prevalent right now, you see Udyrs and Xin Zhaos and just stuff like that, Gragas can deal with them, or at least survive them, to the point where when it comes to team fights, you're very efficient and you can assist your team a lot, basically, without being a complete dead weight, so to speak. You can actually duel a lot of champions, and you're very mobile and cover a lot of ground and keep up with the rest of them. So this is a very important buff to him. So for solo queue, he's definitely usable, and I would actually recommend you try to picking him up if you need a tank. Make him your #1 tank. This change is way more significant for competitive, because Jungle Gragas was already like the premier utility tank, initiated and whatnot, and this basically just makes him be able to jungle without getting his ass destroyed. So in essence, he's just back, baby, and that's it. Anyways, you can see how the game has been going on so far. I've been more methodical and more careful, just trying to predict what's going on. The Fizz, as you saw a little bit earlier, I knew he was going to be super aggro, so I killed him against the Ahri. I saw the Nidalee sneaking about, so I waited to ambush her while Fiora fought the Rammus, and we get ourselves a nice double kill. I wanted to give the kill here to Fiora, but then I noticed her health was way too low, so I just kind of finished Rammus off. So yeah, being much more methodical and careful in this. I hope you notice I haven't even had to go back to buy any items yet. Prior to this change, Gragas did get his ass kicked so brutally you actually had to go back a few times to the fountain just to heal up. He was that inefficient, but my god, that change made all the damn difference. I love it. It's one of those types of buffs that I think is just so smart of Riot to make. Anyhow, same kind of build as before with Gragas. Yeah, if you want damage, you get with Dead Man's Plate. Spirit Visage is like one of your cores, but in this case, the enemy team has basically no magic damage, and the Nidalee is not too much of a threat, and the Fizz basically got absolutely giga-wrecked in lane, so he's not going to bother anybody. Even then, if he focused me, he'd basically be doing a disservice to his team, so Spirit Visage isn't being rushed here. Instead, I'm going to be going for the Cinderhook item for Dead Man's Plate, and then the Gauntlet of the, whatever I call it, Frozen Fist. I keep forgetting whatever it's called. So those items are really damn strong on Gragas. If I was prioritizing like the cookie cutter build on him and the enemy fizz wasn't so messed up, I would have gone Spirit Visage into Iceborne Gauntlet. There, I remember the name. And then either Deadman's Plate or Randuin's Omen. Yeah, I know Randuin's Omen isn't as great as it used to be, but it's still pretty good on someone like Gragas, who's already a CC powerhouse and throwing himself in the fray against his enemies. Though against this composition, Randuin's Omen would have been all that good anyway, so I doubt it. I was telling myself the game wasn't going to last that long anyways. Alright, so the game is kind of a complete shutout. The Rammus did have a lead early, and it was mostly because I played the early game so goddamn stupid and the Fiora was way too aggressive, but now he's basically continuously getting too aggressive, just like the Fizz, and we're able to continuously catch him off guard. Use my ultimate on Rammus, chase him down, and he basically gives us another kill. I have 6 kills right now. And one of the great things about Gragas is, although you still don't want to center all your kills on him, Gragas with kills, unlike a lot of other tanks, actually does a lot. Because he gets very bulky, he deals quite a bit of damage, and he gets to murder the shit out of people. So even though I got fed, it isn't such a big loss. Because again, you can see here, like they can't go through me. I'm basically this gigantic fat wall of blubber. If they try to, I can easily escape by surviving long enough, or I could probably put up a good damn fight. So at most, the enemy has to focus fire me, but at the same time, they can't actually ignore me. That's the greatest strength of our Gragas, and some would argue that's pretty damn overpowered, but I would contest that. See, the thing about Gragas is that all of his damage is pretty conditional. His Q doesn't do the most damage unless it's charged up. His W, you need to actually chug it before you can slam someone's face with it. His body slam, it doesn't get the cooldown reduction unless he hits somebody with it, and it can be blocked by almost anything. And his ultimate can't really be used for damage unless it's being used to initiate on a proper setup. Because if you use it just for damage, you might just fuck up. Like if you don't kill somebody, you might end up just inadvertently saving them. So all of his damage is pretty conditional. Of course, again, you could argue that tanks shouldn't even have that much damage anyways, conditional or not, but still, we kind of moved past that. He's kind of one of those more modern tanks, because if you remember, even though his rework came a while back, it is kind of one of those modern tanks now. I think he's probably the benchmark that most tanks should be going for at this point, so if you want to make a jungler tank, you kind of make him like Gragas now. Nautilus has been switched to top lane. Maokai is basically a top laner now, so eh. Anyways, the enemy team is basically reeling together. They're already complaining in all chat, and once you've got your opponents morally destroyed, morale destroyed, I don't know how to say on a verb or something of it, they're pretty much done for. We're controlling the map. We're pretty much just waiting to get Baron, just waiting for us to pick off someone like Nidalee, someone vital. Or pick off anybody in general. Rammus managed to kill Kalista. We're getting for a little fight, but they overcommit towards trying to kill the Karma. As you can see, no matter how much I'm being focused, they really can't do any significant damage. To the point where they pretty much burned a lot of useful things to try to kill me. Here I fuck up my flash body slam as well, and my ultimate doesn't quite exactly grab Rammus, but I'm fat enough that I can just tank this tower, ignore everything, and bash the remaining health of Rammus' life away. Fizz focuses me, and I should have probably dodged that ultimate, and I might have survived a little bit longer. But as you can see, I know he's not that big, he's 2'7" and 0, but even the full focus of a straight up assassin didn't do shit to me. So in the next following days, or at least when competitor starts using Gragas again, you're gonna see Gragas again in solo queue. He's already being used. I've already seen a few bans on him, but he never really went away. It's just, again, he was very inefficient at clearing, and I guess everyone else just kind of left him in the dust for a little while. Riot gave him his insulin, and now his diabetes is in control, and he can keep up with everyone else. So yeah, I definitely recommend him. Although, again, his build changed, his Rune and Mastery build changed a little bit. Try to go more for health, and try to go more for just being unkillable. Some people were still going with their AP Quints, Magic Pen Reds, and Ability Power Blues or Cooldown Reduction Blues. You gotta go towards more just being a body slam W machine rather than what you call it, so the mild AP-ness that you can be. Although I have already seen a few AP Gragases work out, focusing on getting the Runic Echoes, mobility on their build, and then getting themselves a what you call a Rod of Ages and being super fat and tanky. A pure, I haven't seen a pure AP tank, no, AP Gragas workout, only an AP tank thing. So you can try that as well, and I would recommend it. It's fun to do. Gragas is one of those champions with, well, one of those few champions still that have like a shitload of builds available to them. And again, Gragas is also, he's a little bit harder to learn for a lot of people because you got to learn how to land your ultimate and how to properly use your body slam and not fuck it up like I did twice in this game. Well, he's a pretty cheap champion to buy, so if you're willing to test him out, go for it. The only thing that will probably be expensive at this point would be the runes and mastery. I mean, not the masteries, the runes. But if you don't have health per level runes in any way, quints or yellows, then might as well just put armor on him. It's not that big of a loss. Now, as you can see, this game has pretty much just gone full overboard. The enemy team can't muster anything. Again, we've got control of the map. We were preparing to do Baron, but we caught ourselves a delicious Rammus prior, so now we're just basically sieging. We're trying to find off a pickoff, or trying to just, you know, wait for a minion line and just destroy this tower and dive the rest of them to kill them. I body slammed the minions inadvertently, but it's fine. The enemy team comes towards us, and my teammates manage to pick off a few. We kill ourselves a Fizz, we go for the inhibitor, then we go for the Nexus turrets, and the rest is basically history. Again, I'm glad Gragas is back. He's still he's probably one of the few jungle tanks that you could pick reliably and feel like you won't be too much of a burden, or that your teammates will hold you back. So, congrats to all the people who wanted to play jungle tanks in this meta. Your savior is back. Hooray for Gragas.